Hey, what's up, everybody? Appreciate any thoughts, concerns you got about this. Let them know. I'm down right in the comment section. Help it get answered. Help get more things covered. Like, comment, subscribe. You support. Today, we're gonna talk about Nicki Minaj and her supports as well. As we get into this, not gonna be the most favorite topic of mine to go into, a lot of the things that are happening in today's world on social media, on, just a neighbor to neighbor, the news, TV, things of that nature. I don't got a problem with talking about Nicki Minaj and other situations. I'm really not a fan of what you can call, just the politic or political field type of thing. To be honest, we're gonna get into that soon. But if you look statistically at the country of Nigeria, all this Trump stuff didn't really. The first thing was her supporting Trump, and this is what it really is: supporting Trump and stopping the killing of women, children, and people just going to church or just believing. This is not a war zone. This is not like Ukraine. There's so many missiles came down. There's no, businesses. There's no nothing. There's no, this is like people on their way to work being killed for their beliefs, or on the street just trying to buy, maybe a fruit or find something to eat, fish. It's not one of the richest countries as well. And for 7,000 people a month statistically dying, I said a month, a year. It's been going on for decades as well. So for them to finally, can you imagine those numbers? Of people dying just because of the pastor even calling, hey, Trump, get something, Trump, United Nations, somebody. They've been trying to get somebody for many years, and all they can get is nobody. I'm gonna be transparent as well. I've heard of massacres and all types of poor people in many different countries. My take was that we can't help everybody. We already spending too much money. It was on Afghanistan, on a lot of different places. It was Iraq at one point. It was like, when are we gonna step out of these major war, billions of dollars like Ukraine going on? Or I wasn't against. I'm not gonna get into that, but even with Israel though, I don't support everything shown on TV, but these are the countries where, for many years they would attack Israel for no reason at all, just because of their beliefs. And if you go check into people from Hamas converted to Christianity, they'll tell you that from a young age, there's people in Gaza in general are taught to kill. To hate Israel and want to kill them, be okay with that. The religion of Muslims as well, that they practice. People say it's the extreme terrorism group, but you do your research into, a lot of people, whether it's Christian or Muslims, don't like to read the Bible or the Quran, or they don't really go too deep. There's people that are so poor. And a lot of these countries are communist, and many Muslims are third world countries perspective. They are people don't even read. They have so much oil, so if the United States had as much oil, let's say, as some of these Muslim countries, we'd be 20 times, 100 times more powerful economically in the world. But That's not what's going on in these places. Even Nigeria, for example, it's not what is going on in these places, sadly, where wealth is evenly distributed with programs. Like you have to, just to imagine the United States has to rely on Europe, or just to put it in perspective of what is, you have to rely on another country like thousands of miles or anywhere around the world. Please help because our government is not going to. And that, there's people forced to support this type of stuff as well. This is what it is when you're in communism, sadly, or socialism. There's so much control in things that even the things that are unspoken control are controlled as well. The police suggestions are not always suggestions, and you may find out in a way you don't want to. Like it is that much fear that goes on. Thank God we live in the USA, so it can be really hard to go into perspective. So for her to do that as well, I respect her courageousness for caring about that. Sharia law, I'm not sure if you know about Sharia law. Sharia law is a law where they're even trying to put that here. I'm not going to go into details of this. I'll let you do your research, get your thoughts on these things. Another thing, matter of fact, we're not going to switch too much. But actually, yes, I'm going to go on another thing. So, in Sharia law, you can kill your woman for any reason at all. There's rich Muslims trying to fight for that. They asked Muhammad, are you against that? And he couldn't answer. Just simply the lives of women and children not being, because children can be, kind of like property as well. And, these type of what we considered extremist things. And, whatever side that you're currently on in the political spectrum or perspective, right? Sorry for using these words right here, but that's the most accurate. Perspective is perspective. Spectrum is kind of like a signal, you can say. Like people, whatever signal you may listen to on radios or whatever, on TV, YouTube, you might be towards our lives, and I don't think that they should be handled like casually when we have the power to do so. There's all types of situations going on with that country and many others, and any help from people who are needing water every day can be killed for no reason on the streets. A lot of corruption going on is greatly appreciated. Like he said, it was a pastor. He was just walking with his family and killed. They had like 10 bodies that they buried all together, that they put all together right there. Not even sure to do. They all died the same day, like type stuff. And that he personally knew. He went to church with, or other people worked with as well. Employees is dead on the ground because their beliefs. Like it's anywhere so I don't even like putting pressure or seeming like I'm putting pressure on the average listener, average, middle class or low class or whatever, the person that's not in a financial situation to really make any type of difference, like big difference, or even support. Like you're not rich, you don't know anybody, really famous out there that can really put the word out there, or like you don't got none of that as well. It's like it shouldn't even be your decision at all. This should be someone, elected official, to be dealing with these situations. But where we're at today, that can be hard to find. But I'm gonna get into like why it whatever your beliefs are. I'm not for you know I'm not for children and women, especially to be just killed out there. But they these are countries where kids are taught at a young age to kill. People giving candies out and kidnapping kids, join terrorist groups like you see in Hamas. That was a group that was there from the 90s, recruiting people 7 years old and things of that nature. And they spent all of the tens of millions of dollars. The government itself were supposed to put that into kids, put that into this and that. There's so much things that could have been done with $10 million, and people are still broke. People are illiterate. People, so even if you get their perspective, just because they can't really read and things of that nature, it could be really hard to get the right perspective on what is going. Limited information on whether or not instead of gangs controlling the neighborhood, like another country's terrorist groups working with like 40, like it can be all the other Muslim countries as well. Bombs going off in Gaza, or that same groups in Egypt and things like that. Other countries like Egypt put their borders immediately up. They know that it's so dangerous to allow a regular Gazan citizen in their country that they don't even Syria, I believe, or Lebanon as well. When the incident happened October 10th, like they just don't trust anybody there. That's Muslim to Muslim, Arab to Arab, country to country, race to race. Like there was no dividing line in that situation, and all these people can do was they didn't have enough money to build their own private fortress, so they hide behind women and children. Even if an inch of accidentally is too much in a situation and something needs to happen. Um, in Israel's case, I'm not gonna say that this is people wanna. If you don't like the president, or if the president is not doing the best job, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna go into, but it shouldn't be the whole race just because of a president. We don't have the best president in like I believe, like I don't even want to say that, but like this president we have currently is, in my opinion, is not the best of the best, even if he has done great things. Or people can say he has done great things. I believe that there's more than just performing an act of like just having a high performance, or high it's not a performance, but stamina, high exertion, like using the force, or using like just being active is what I'm saying, and certain causes for the people, and constantly showing up doesn't automatically mean that everything is all good, in my opinion. So it's hard to explain these things. I try to be as clear as possible, but I think that can be left like that. But whether 4 years ago or not, like the economy was not the best thing. We got into a war that typically we wouldn't want to get into. And I feel like that just the political powers that be, the reason why the country is how it is, because I don't want to, I'm trying not to get too into this topic. I really don't like it, but the political powers that be, they try to force us into their little disputes and go back home to the jacuzzis, to the servants and massages and I don't know, bachelorettes or whatever though, or bachelor parties. I don't know exactly what every single individual is into, but they're going back to some level of huge comfortability and acquired sense of peace than the average citizen dealing with any of these situations. And I don't believe it's right. Last 4 years with the president that was there, people thought he was going to be more peaceful, but he kept pushing in the same force, you can say, or even more than the current president. And I was hoping for some passiveness, there'll be at least a little bit more, but it's a lot. Like the the mayor of New York, there was so much people of his country that he literally putting up signs in Arabic, and people can't even read and write in English, and they are, a lot of the force, the medical, a lot of people might get into that, what's going on with medical stuff, but it's because a lot of people from different countries have been put in here on refugee status as if they don't have no home, nowhere to go, or they were, basically every country under new laws for many of these countries, they were treated as if, homeless, basically, because of their political or war situation, when many people already have lives and food, and they're being brought here, and we're not getting, we already have a war going on, and now other people are coming here for free on your dollar bills, and on your, people with cars. People are getting, I personally seen this, I'm not gonna get into details like how, but like people, he just came yesterday living in a neighborhood, and he says, yeah, I just came from such and such country, and I'm trying to spew hate. It's not specifically even like Arab countries, this is just in general. Gave all this money, and now they're like residents that can live here for years and can vote. So there's, I'm not gonna get into even the news sources, because even these news sources, they're not like journalists per se. They're not people that are, they report every issue or write down and put in awareness. They're primarily are focused on promoting issues. Even though this sounds hard, it might sound crazy to you. Promoting the most popular issues at a rapid rate to attract the most viewers, because they have already been on a downcline for many years, and people are not tuning into the sources that they want to. Like for me, it'd be like, just forget about TV and go YouTube, and you don't have to spend all that money. But they don't think like that. They're not willing to think like that, and they're taking the heavy burdens to even pay some of these reporters to. And then with CNN and what was it, the other channel that was going against, Fox News, they lost, CNN lost Don Lemon, and Fox News lost Tucker Carlson with it was a $800 million settlement. That's almost $1 billion. They just, them two, like going at each other, talking, back and forth on their issues and beliefs. I believe that was out of hand as well, so that made every single other news, more popular, talking about them or what's going on, the issues they were mentioned on, and it helped the ecosystem of the news. But now, because of that law settlement on what really happened with the elections or not, and it was a lot of things that they were saying that Don Lemon as well was making a mistake. He didn't really know what he was talking about. Like, to him, it could have been just promoting, like Don Lemon and Tucker, they're promoting awareness on the issues or what is known in that second, that time. You just got the news at 10:30 at night. You know, they put in a popular story, and I'm not gonna say if one of or not went too far in the story names or not, but that is a reason to lose $1 billion nowadays. So, after they was done, I haven't seen anybody that's a real that was out on their level of famous or attractive. They lost a lot of money, so they was already closing down departments to pay them. Like they were the biggest stars. Now they're scared of having stars, or they can't afford them. So this is how big, uh, and they, the news reporters should just be focused on reporting news, in my opinion, than being the face of a whole political party and have to, suffer billions of dollars over, no political figure is just. So this is why I believe for Nicki and even the news, like to be the face of a whole political party, because cowards at the office are not willing to be the face. They're willing just to play a little bit, put the blame on this, say, you have to go do something about it. You have to support. You have to on these issues. You have to be a blockade and block all this and be like the front linemen while they sit back and it's like kind of like a show. If you're sitting back for a certain amount of time, you're not doing nothing. It becomes a show after. Like just the image that's repeated for a certain amount of time, it's gonna bring certain amount of what's the word? Certain amount of effort putting in the issues, and a lot of times people are just been they just been so mad or so hateful on certain issues or not that they don't even know how to differentiate or how to, other issues of importance. And this person should not be. This is why they usually hire professionals to deal with professional issues. This is why YouTubers, in my opinion, should be watched more than, they don't have anybody on their ear that's paying a certain amount on their pockets specifically that they're working for compared to these YouTubers. They have specific people that at any point in time can say, take that down, take this, add that. I've seen as far as they're even telling people what clothes to wear and what you can't wear for certain talks and this and that. So everything is controlled, and regular, YouTubers, I'm not gonna say that to stop watching news at all. If you want to do that, I understand as well. Sometimes some YouTubers can be that good sometimes, but okay. But what I am gonna say is that they have a more personable. More YouTubers come from the same background or similar to be able to understand and and communicate and things of that nature, and can give a good outlook. If you got an unbiased one, somebody who just fueled off the hate, it's gonna add more fuel to the fire on the confusion that can possibly happen on certain issues or not. But definitely like, comment, subscribe for more. Get thoughts on the issues mentioned, and this is why I believe that Nicki done great, but she is for some reason put in as the face of everybody issue that should be, if there's a problem with this person's family that's going on, that should be between him and his family, and he should or she should step up to defend, and not, you can defend as well, but it shouldn't be more than what he's willing to defend or put. This is just an example. Whether a business, what is not, if you're saying it's the best business in the world, and a guy is just quiet and okay, that's what you think, like 100, because it doesn't make any sense. And a lot of these political figures are not willing to talk to other people on the street or try to, individuals on the issues, whether it's the border, it can be whether it's Biden or Trump or, on the extremity of they're not going to be willing to talk to family or hear people in comment sections and all this other stuff, sadly. Whether many years has passed, people, you know, I mean, an issue happened on the border, issue happened in Hawaii. I feel very sorry for your family. Let me donate a millions of my. I have many millions. They're not doing anything like that. And what is your specific thought? This is what we came to talk about. They might just say sorry, bounce, a long apology, leave. These are not people that should be highly regarded. Even a position of power, just we do what we gotta do and leave. Like most politicians are not the best people to look forward to. I know a lot of things going on in the country, but when you care more, or when you have to do more than the person in power, doesn't that mean you care more? So it's like, this is why I believe the political side should just be left more alone and away from your perspective. Like, it's not just because you support children not being murdered, that you agree automatically with Donald Trump putting alligators and stuff around kids, or Biden that you support Democrat. It shouldn't mean that you support Biden only giving $500 to families in Hawaii after the flame, and that's not enough for anything. And you having to be forced to defend both of those issues just because of the pressure that somebody else that doesn't, just feel like I'm being pressured too, so I'm just doing the same thing. I don't believe that's the right way to go about things. But yeah, we're gonna leave it like that. Like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate everybody listening, and we're out.